So I'm still trying to raise my CAD skills a little bit. I recently did a video on the coffee pot and spout, and that was quite good, but we need to up the level a little bit. So this is something that I've done with my students fairly recently. If you make that 270, that should work hopefully, and you get this rather pleasing animated lid. Once again, the difference between this and the coffee pot is the coffee pot was a regular, well, a circle to a regular polygon, a 10-sided shape, but here we have a varying curvature, which is a lot more difficult. So you can't just loft a circle to a hexagon or a 10-sided shape. We need to do a bit of surface modeling here. And once we've done that, then making the lid and the handle and attaching those with Fasten Mate and Revolute Mate are fairly straightforward. So this is the challenge that I set my students to create this jug, and this was something I needed to teach myself, and I'm very pleased with the way it worked out. And this is what the video is about. And we've got kind of several, well, we've got 3 planes here with a varying circular curvature, and we not loft them, but we fill each of these parts together, and then we add on this little base here for the handle. And something I was very pleased with, where we on this central plane, the right plane, we can do a linear pattern and project that onto the side, onto the curved side, which looks quite good. The lid is pretty straightforward. We've got this little pin here for the pivot, and then we've got this sketch here, which is not too difficult, and we extrude that, and then we shell that out, which looks quite good, and we end up putting all of that together in the assembly. So this is what we're going to do in this video. We're just going to draw the jug and the spout, and if you want the full guidance document, then that is available for free. If you look in the description, then there is a step-by-step guide to draw the whole thing. So yeah, here we go. Right, I see. Here we go. Part Studio. So you want to get a new Part Studio, and we're going to go on the top plane. This is on the top plane. We're going on an offset plane. So go to plane, and yeah, above the top plane, we're going to have 30 mils. 30 mils, and we create a plane there. That looks fine, and we can accept that. And then we're going to have a second plane, so go to plane again, and entities is above the new plane, so click on plane 1, and it's going to be 140 above that, which will give us this view here. Click on the front view. So what we've got is the top plane and then 2 planes above that. So the thing about constructing this surface modeling, this 2-dimensional shape, is that you need to, in my understanding, create a side profile, and then you need to have construction lines on the planes that you've decided upon, and then you can start adding the details, the curvature. So the first thing you need to do is on the front plane, we can extend that up a little bit. Just pull these little rings here, and then spacebar to get out of that. So we're going to sketch on the front plane. So if you click on up here, we've got line. Midpoint line is a really useful thing. So what we're going to do is create some lines here, and something which is kind of new to me really, and very important, is if you create these lines, once you've created them, then you can change them into construction lines. So if you go to escape, then we can select 1, 2, 3, and go to this button up here, change them into construction lines. And because that was midpoint line, then they're already centered, so we don't need to worry about is the middle in the right place. It already is. We press escape again, and press spacebar to deselect, and then we should be able to dimension. So we need several dimensions here. We need to dimension this one here as 100, which should work hopefully. Or we can click on this fella here, and that is 130. That's fine, and then we can do this one here, click on that, and then select that as 160. Marvelous. Okay, so we can see quite clearly the construction lines are not aligned with the planes that I've created, and that's really important that they are. And it's actually quite useful to not get them really close, because you can see then that they're clearly not aligned. So the next thing we need to do is to click on the bottom plane of the top, there we go. Make sure if we put that in as 30, then now if we zoom in, we can see that the construction line is exactly on the plane. That's so important, because when we come to draw on this plane here, the plane 1, then these points that we've created will be in that plane, so we can actually interact with them. That's really important. So similar with this one here, we're going to do between this plane and this point here, that should be 140, I think. There we go, fantastic. Again, it's always useful to zoom right in. Certainly if they're straight lines, if you zoom into the maximum amount, then they should be absolutely aligned. With Onshape, I don't know what it's like with other CAD packages, but if you zoom in to curved surfaces, then I think the computer tries to make a curve out of lots of small straight lines, so it can look a little bit weird, but yeah, the straight lines do look fine. So all of this is in the same sketch, really important. I only have one sketch here, so if you're doing this on multiple sketches, then that's not going to work. The next thing we want to do is to go to spline. So draw a spline, and we're going to connect on the left hand side this bottom point to the point on plane 1, then click the point on plane 2. And you can double click or press escape to get rid of that. Now if you had a varying cross section that was not symmetrical, you could do something different on the other side. But this is symmetrical, so we could draw that again, or we could go to sketch mirror and select the mirror line and the spline that we've just drawn, and that should connect all those points up together. So as always, it's useful just to zoom in there and say, is that all connected? It's a bit disconcerting when you get this view here, which suggests that they're not connected, but I think that is fine. So as long as you zoom in enough and it seems to be pretty close, that should be fine. Good. Right, so this is the first stage of drawing a complex three-dimensional curved shape surface modeling with a varied contour on each plane. So we've got to define the edges, define the planes, and draw some construction lines. So we can accept that sketch. So let's go to the top plane. So just move this around. The top plane is over here. We can click on that and then click on N. I'm going to rotate that because that's the way my brain works. Let's rotate it back. So what we've got, we can see the dots. This is really useful. If you want to click space and then open that up a little bit, we can move the sketch plane. So we can see these two dots here are the ends of the bottom construction line, and the 2 points here are the middle construction line, and the 2 points here are the top construction line. So what we want to do is create a curved surface. Now we could do something really boring and just do a semicircle between this point and this point here, but that's pretty boring. So what we're going to do is select the top plane, and we're going to sketch, and we're going to go to this icon here and go to an elliptical arc. So elliptical arc is really useful. It's far more interesting than a semicircle, but there's quite a few buttons we need to click, or clicks we need to click here. So we click on the center, and then we click on the point here. Now this is really useful because that point there we have defined in the top plane, we can interact with it. So it lights up when we move the cursor near it. That's really useful. So we can click on that. We've defined it. And then this one here, we're going to define with a dimension this kind of right horizontal section. So we can just click, as long as it's aligned there, that's fine. And then the next bit's a little bit weird. We can draw this in a number of ways. So we can draw this all the way around here. We don't want a full circle. So what we want, oh, correct. I can go back here. Yeah. So we're going to go from here to here. Nope, we're going to go from here to here. That's the one. There we go. So you might need to play around with that a little bit. So we're actually going to get a quarter of a circle here. Importantly here, if we zoom in, this is perpendicular, it's 90 degrees at this intersection. That's really useful. We don't want to get a pointy edge because that's going to look rubbish and it's going to cause problems with the loft or the fill. So before we accept that, we're going to go to mirror. That's our mirror plane there, and click that there, and that should hopefully meet the point at the bottom. So what we've got here is an ellipse, which it looks a little bit like a semicircle, but we can actually dimension that as 45. If we go to dimension from here to here, so it's almost 45. That should work there. So it looks a bit like a semicircle, but the distance from the center to this end here is 50, and this is 45. So it's a slightly squashed circle, so it's a bit more interesting than just a boring semicircle. So we can accept that, that's fantastic. So we're going to do the same kind of thing, but on the second plane, which is plane 1. So once again, we're going to sketch on there. We're going to go to elliptical arc, which is now the selected value here. Click on the midpoint, the origin. Click on the second of these 3 points. Pull that out to the edge a little bit. Click on the edge, and then we can pull that round. There we go. So we get this fraction. We're going to dimension that. So again, if we're just going to do the same dimension as origin to top, origin to right, there's no point doing that. We could do a semicircle or a 3-point arc. But in this case, we're going to have this as 50, which is slightly less than the other dimension. We can see that interesting curvature. Once again, we've got this perpendicular meeting point here between the curve and these lines here. So it's far more interesting than just a ragged point. We can go to sketch mirror, click on the mirror line, and then click on this shape here, and we get our second curve. So this is the essence of, as I understand it, the essence of surface modeling, is we're creating varied shapes on different planes, and then we're going to be able to connect all these lines together. So we can accept that sketch, and we can look at the top view. Oh, rotate that round. That's the way my brain works. There we go. And the final sketch, we're going to sketch on plane 2. This hopefully is the top plane. Plane 2, fantastic. Oh, crikey, it's gone that way again. Turn it round. So now we're going to do once again the elliptical arc from the origin to this point here. Again, this is really important because we aligned each of those construction lines exactly to the planes, then these points will appear. If we did not do that, I would not be able to click on these points. So I can click on that point, put it approximately over to the edge, and we can move that round to there. That's fine. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay, let's try that again. Elliptical arc from here to here. Pull that round. Let's try it down here. That's fine. Fantastic. And now we are on 60. So dimension, origin to the edge, almost on 60, or 60, there we go. Fantastic. So before we accept, we need to mirror the sketch. So midpoint and then bottom section. There we go. Fantastic. Right. So if you look there, we have 3, they're not semicircles, they are elliptical arcs. So it's not just a boring semicircle. And we can see that we have boundaried these shapes. So the next stage should be very pleasing, and we can actually fill this bottom section and the top section, but we need to do that as a separate operation. So let's have a look. Let's put this on isometric view. There we go. So we've come out of the sketches. We've got 4 sketches. We're going to go into the search tools, and we're going to type in FILL for fill and select fill. Okay, so we can zoom in a little bit. We're just going to select all these curves here, rotate it around a little bit, this one and this one. So you can see that even though these lines on the left and the right, the side edges extend quite a long way, the software just ignores those. It only looks for the boundaried edges, and that's what we're interested in. Now, if at this stage you get any red circles, that means that there's a problem. The lines or the curves are not intersecting. So you might need to zoom in and identify what the problem is. But we should be able to accept that, and we've got our bottom section there, which looks good. So we can go to Search Tools once again, click on Fill. This is a really disconcerting thing. At this stage, a lot of people, including myself and my students, will think, oh my goodness, what's happened to all my sketches? What Onshape is trying to do, I think, is be helpful and tidy up the workspace, but it's not helpful at all. So all of these have been hidden. So if you click on Sketch 1, Sketch 2, Sketch 3, open up the eye, and it now reveals all those lovely sketches that we did before. So let's go back to Fill. We could do New. I think Add would be better. The edges are this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, and these two here. And hopefully that will join everything up. So you could do New, but then you would have to Boolean that later on. Add is better. So let's just think about what we've done here. We've got 3 planes, the top plane, plane 1 and plane 2. We've defined the side edges and curves as a spline. And then we've drawn 3 different elliptical arcs on different planes, all intersecting with the endpoints. And then we've used Fill to connect them all together. Oh crikey, that didn't work, did it? Try that again. Yeah, I just deleted it. There we go, hopefully that works. Oh goodness me, I might need to do that again. So we have drawn half of the jug. So we could at this stage do a mirror, either mirror new or mirror add, it's probably better. But we haven't drawn the spout. So I think it's worthwhile doing the spout at this stage before we draw, before we mirror the jug. So let's have a go at this. We're going to go on to plane 1. We're going to click on normal. So on the, well, I was going to say the top plane, actually plane 2, we can sketch on there. Always useful to draw a point. I quite like points. We can put a point on there. So the curve is lit up. That means the point is constrained to the curve. And then we can do some dimensions. We can dimension between this point and the line here. Oh, I think that's right. No, that's not quite right. Got to be careful with that. Let's try that again. Between the point and this edge. We've got to be careful. If there's another point there and we link to it, that's not what we want. We want the edge. There we go. That's it. That should be 25. That looks fine. At this point here, we could add a point, or we could dimension it later. I'm just going to do a line. Watch out for this. This is defaulted to midpoint, so I just want a line between the point we've just drawn and this center line here. Click on Escape, and now we can dimension between here and here. Horizontally, 25. That looks fine. Fantastic. So this is the top view of the spout. So it's coming off from the edge. If you zoom in a long way, that looks quite worrying because it doesn't look like it's connected. I think that's a limitation of the graphics because it simplifies it to a straight line. So we can accept that, and we've got the top point of our line. Good. So let's go to, not the top view, but oh crikey. Let's go to the side view or the front view. There we go. So what we're going to do now is draw a line from this tip here. So click on N, sketch. We want this plane here, which is the front plane. We want a normal line from the tip of the spout. And this is really useful. So the edge is lit up orange or yellow, which is really useful. If we had not defined that side, then it would not light up. It would just be saying, okay, there's a curved surface there. I don't know which bit you want. So this is really useful. We can link or snap to that edge, which is exactly what we want. And then we can dimension it from the top point to there, and we want to have that as 45. Marvelous. So that is our edge view of the spout. Looks good. We can accept the sketch. Right. So we have the top line of the sketch, which is connected to the curve. We have the side view of the sketch, which is connected to the edge. We want to connect the third part of this triangle. We cannot just do that. It would be lovely just to say, right, draw a line from here to here. That's not how CAD works. It's not going to work. So the way we do this, well, the reason it doesn't work is because this is a curved surface. So that's a very complicated drawing to do. So the way we do this is, if we look at the left view, we could click on the right plane and pull that up, and then click on the space bar. As we saw in the previous video, what we need to do is to sketch on that plane, the right plane, a line approximately from this point here, approximately to this point here. And it's actually quite useful to not make it really, really close, because we need to coincident these points. So coincident, as we've seen before, is a really useful tool. That means, well, within the constraints of the plane, because we are on this mid-plane here, we're going to make these points the same. So I want that point and that point to be the same. Where's my coincident? There we go. So it's moved that upper section of the line up to meet the top point. I can do the same coincident for the bottom point, and it's moved it. Now it hasn't connected those points. This is on a mid-plane, but it is moved those in the, well, I'm going to say X and Y direction. I might be wrong, but in this two-planar space, it's aligned them up. So we can accept that. Okay, so that we haven't finished the issue here. We've just created that line. So now I go to Search Tools, and we want Projected Curve. Click on that. So as we saw with the coffee pot, it probably defaults to 2 sketches, so go to Curve to Face. The edges is what we have drawn here. Click on that. The direction, click on the right plane. And the target is click on the curved edge. And that should throw this pink line, but it's not in the right direction. That's really frustrating. Easily fixed. Click on the arrow, and that sends it in the other direction. So what we've done is we've taken this original line that we drew and thrown that onto the curved surface. This is extremely pleasing. So now we've connected up this third line of the triangle. We can accept that. So now we should have a closed contour. So if we go to Fill once again and click on these 3 points, hopefully that will fill it. Yes, it does. Marvelous. So we've created 1/2 of our spout, and we can accept that. Brilliant. So this is turning into a long video. We're on 23 minutes, so I'm just going to finish this off fairly quickly, hopefully. So mirror the side of the jug. We're going to go to Add. The mirror plane is front. That makes a large, or the total jug, which is great. Accept that. We're going to do the same for mirror, part mirror, Add, spout, mirror plane, once again the central plane. That should give us the other side of the spout. Always worth checking on the surfaces. We have 2 surfaces. That is exactly what we want. Fantastic. Let's continue. So go on to Search Tools. We're going to go to Move Boundary, and we're going to click on this edge here and this edge here. Hopefully that will work. Because it's stretching out the boundary, it might touch the edge of the jug, so I might want to reduce that to 10, and that might make it a bit safer. Fantastic. Final stage, hopefully, if you go to Mutual Trim, and we're going to click on this surface and this surface. Very important, you only have 2 surfaces. If you have lots more surfaces, it's not going to work. Play around with these arrows. Hopefully they will work at some point. There we go. So Mutual Trim has got rid of that middle section. And if you click Accept, we now have our jug and our spout all beautifully arranged. Great, so that is the bulk of the lesson. As I said at the start, you can also draw the handle, which is very pleasing. and the lid. And if you go to the jug body, there is this section here, which I think is worthwhile doing. You draw that on the right plane. This is using a linear sketch pattern, and then project curve, and you can go to the assembly and put it all together. Right, hopefully that's been useful. Do look in the description for the link to the guidance document, and yeah, good luck with your CAD skills.